Hello and welcome back to Arsenal Domination, where I'm delighted to be talking to you on Arsenal's new biggest game of the season. It's a European Champions League semi-final, and what a huge night it is. It's what we all wanted to see, and of course we want to see Arsenal go to the next round. And I think Arsenal will be very confident coming into this game after the way they beat Real Madrid. It's obviously been a very tricky season. We've spoken about it many times before. But this has sort of been the real highlight of the season, hasn't it? This Champions League run. And let's hope that it doesn't just have two more games to go, that it has three. Paris Saint-Germain will be the visitors in a huge first leg tonight. We saw Arsenal dominate Real Madrid and take a big 3-0 lead into the second leg, and I think that was vitally important for Arsenal. I think this will be a little bit trickier in many ways. Real Madrid, very, very good individually, but you sort of saw the lack of a team structure here. And I think that was very much the case with Paris Saint-Germain when they came to us in October, where Arsenal won 2-0 on that occasion. But since then, they've looked much more of a team. They've looked much more structured, and they look like they've got more of an identity. They have, of course, won the French league, but I don't think that was a surprise. But they have looked more of a team, as I say, and I think anyone thinking it's going to be the sort of similar proposition to the team that we faced in the autumn, I think is probably in for a shock. Arsenal, when we faced them in the autumn, were facing a team without a few of their players, including Dembele, who has been electric for them this season. He stayed relatively injury-free, and we're sort of seeing the player that I think we all knew was in there, but just couldn't see consistent enough because of those injuries. And since January, they've had Kvaratskhelia on the other flank, and those two are Doué, making sort of a formidable sort of attacking lineup there for Paris Saint-Germain. And of course, behind them they have Vitinha and Neves, who have been a fairly dominant midfield, very skillful, if slightly slight in terms of sort of physical strength, but that provides them a lot of progressive passing from midfield, and it allows Paris Saint-Germain to really dominate sort of in the attacking areas. I think on the other side of that, you have Marquinhos and the defenders are struggling. We saw Villa get at them with that sort of directness and pace in the attack at Villa Park, and it nearly saw Villa go through. And I think that's something that Martinelli and Saka will be looking at, as well as possibly, even though Rice will probably play in the six, for Arsenal to try and exploit from sort of midfield and wide there. Nice put three past them, Villa put three past them, and they are sort of struggling defensively in that area. And I think that's something Arsenal need to try and take advantage of tonight. We know Arsenal are dominant defensively, very good defensively, despite the sort of individual errors that we've seen, a few of this season, and that defence not quite been the same level as it was last season. But it's still a very, very good defence. And I think if Arsenal can defend well and exploit those attacking areas and really get at Paris Saint-Germain tonight, quickly and dominantly and physically, I think they could really get some success, which could stand them in good stead. In terms of the Arsenal news, then, of course, no Partey tonight. He's suspended, and I don't think anyone expects Jorginho back. The sort of news we're sweating on really is Mikel Moreno, and who would have betted on that, just a few months ago? The Spaniard done really, really well in his number 9 role, but, I expect to see him back in midfield tonight. There's a short going out sort of tomorrow morning, which you may or may not have seen, sort of discussing why Moreno in midfield makes sense more than other options. MLS, Timber, Zinchenko all sort of muted. I don't want to see Timber or MLS out of defence. I think I spoke about Dembele and I spoke about Kvaratskhelia there, and I think stopping them is really, really important to do that. Miles Lewis-Skelly and Jurrien Timber, who have been excellent at fullback for Arsenal this season, are absolutely vital. If you take Miles Lewis-Skelly in particular, his relationship with Kivior, the obvious weak link in the Arsenal defence at the moment, well as he's played, is really important there. And he's the only fullback, I think, in the Champions League this season to have not been dribbled past yet. That will likely change against Paris Saint-Germain over two legs, you'd have thought, but it just shows how well he is doing there. So I think keeping them against the two main attacking threats, as I see it, from Paris Saint-Germain is absolutely vital. And that's why I don't see them as options. Also, why would you move Timber out of his natural position? Miles Lewis-Skelly, of course, is a midfielder by trade, but has done outstandingly well at left-back. And I just think Zinchenko in midfield, well, I think probably more of his natural position, even though he plays most of his club football for Arsenal and City previously at left-back. It is a good option, but I think Mikel Moreno and Rice's power in that midfield will allow Arsenal in terms of getting balls into the box and set pieces, either from set pieces or just natural wing play, will be really important, as well as their ability to sort of crash the box late, which Moreno sort of got better at as the season has gone on, will be really important. But I think physically dominating that midfield is where Arsenal can win and lose this game. And we sort of showed that in the first leg, different as Paris Saint-Germain are, as I noted earlier. So that for me is kind of the big decisions there. And then Trossard would play up front if Mikel Merino plays in midfield. So I think Arsenal's lineup for me will be Raya, Timber, Saliba, Kivior, Miles Lewis-Skelly, midfield three of Rice, Moreno and Odegaard, with Saka, Trossard and Martinelli up front. But let me know what you would do differently. As I say, I think midfield is where it will be won and lost, but Arsenal, I think they can be confident coming into this game. And I'm going to go with Arsenal 2, Paris Saint-Germain 0. But as always, let me know your lineup and predicted scores in the comments. I will be back after the game tomorrow. And as I say, a short going out tomorrow morning, as well as one already scheduled for Wednesday morning even, to look out for. So that's what's coming up on the channel. And as I say, good luck to Arsenal later on. And I will speak to you soon. Thanks.